I think you can agree when I say junk journaling is fun. But there's one thing that I really don't like, and perhaps you have such a thing as well. That thing is hidden paperclips. I hate hidden paperclips. I think you have never seen me making a hidden paperclip. So I thought, why don't we take today's prompt, which is plaid and polka dots, please touch, and why don't we make a hidden paperclip? Welcome, it's Luisa Heinzel, and this is Dephemerember 2023, which is a December series, and it's all about making ephemera for your junk journals. Dephemerember is also a collaboration with my dear friend Barbara at 49 Dragonflies. So that means on each day of Dephemerember you get 2 videos to watch, one here on my channel and one on her channel. And of course you can also find even more ideas, not only on Barbara's and my channel, when you take the hashtag Dephemerember and put that, for example, into the YouTube search bar, or you can of course also search on Instagram, Facebook, wherever, and you can see all of the gorgeous creations that the other people have made who are joining Dephemerember. So today I want to make something, and I'm a little afraid because that is the truth. I hate hidden paperclips. So let's start with my background page. I have chosen this page here because I want to use this page, but that I have something on the back side. I have printed this here so that the back side already looks nice and that it isn't white. This comes from a relatively new additional junk journal kit that I've created for Dephemerember. And originally this page was like this. I've just cut that in half. This is my One Day in EPHY'S Life Volume 1 junk journal kit. Not this, I mean, this is one of the pages from this kit, and you can find the whole kit linked down below in the description box. Perhaps some of you might recognize this set. If you look at it like this, then you might see that this originally was my Ohrkatzelschworf junk journal kit. That is probably the most difficult name that I have for a kit in my shop. Ohrkatzelschworf, that is the tail of a squirrel. And yeah, there are little squirrels and other animals in this kit, and I thought, why don't I let them go on holiday, and why don't I let Effie travel into the world of the Ohrkatzelschworf. So this is a day in his life. The whole kit tells about this day. So if you want to know more about that, check out the link. So I want to take this here to be able to put what I want to create to this page here. And since the prompt list says plaid, I thought that is something that not everyone out there has, yeah. So I thought, okay, I have some ideology plaid paper, I have some stamps where I could imitate plaid, but that's all. I've searched for polka dots. I also found some from the backdrops, ideology backdrops, but then I thought, if you don't have that, what can you do then? And I think I came to a good idea because I made this freebie for you. Yay! So we have another Dephemerember freebie. You can find this on my website. The link is, as always, down below in the description box. And here you can see different elements. Some of those I'm going to use today, but not all. But I wanted to give you things that you can use for your project if you don't have the things that I have. So on this sheet, you will find everything that you can use as an alternative for what I am using. So this here shall become my background and at the same time a little window. I've printed this on 110 GSM photo paper, matte photo paper, but I thought I want to use a different material for my background than paper. I mean, you can make that from paper, yeah? That's, of course, you can do that. But I thought the prompt list says, please touch. So I thought, let's take something else so that you have this wish to touch everything on the page. So I have printed the freebie on canvas. And the good thing is, I'm so sorry. You can tear this and you can fray the edges relatively easily. And that's what I want to do next, so that we get something to touch on the edges of this thing as well. As you can see, we have this frame around here now. And I want to take Fired Brick Oxide ink now, because I think that that matches all of the other colors really, really well. And I want to go around here so that this frame gets red instead of white. The prompt list says polka dots, and I know that these are dots, but the German translation of the prompt list says just dots. So I thought, why can't I take this stencil here? The number is THS037, and put some dots around here to give a little bit of dots around the whole page, or how can I say that? I have used the texture paste Sparkle by Ranger for this. So we are going to let this air dry. And when I think about plaid, I also think about sewing patterns. Because, you know, plaid is a pattern, but if that is on fabric, then it's used for clothes, and clothes are sewn. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, why don't we take another stencil, and I have this one here, which has everything for the prompt on it, dots and the plaid. And I want to take this and use the texture paste Sparkle again. Ooh, what is that? That looks a little bit funny. Okay, this is going to become really interesting collage fodder. Don't do that with a paintbrush. So let's see what this is. You know, I will let this dry, and then we will see what we can get from this. Perhaps we get the most interesting pattern ever, but I will let this air dry as well. And then I also want to use a piece of this fabric here. I have this left over from my German video. I will show you from the German video footage how I made this. I have taken these stamps here, Ticking and Grain, CMS 475 by Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. And I've just taken these with several different inks and oxide inks, and I've stamped myself this little plaid. I thought this fits really, really well to this. So while the other things are drying, let's take this piece. And as you can see, I've made the printable so that you can see approximately where you could cut or tear your window now. I thought it could look nice if we tear this like a little smaller than this thing is here, and I have tried to get this as irregular as possible so that you have many possibilities how to tear this. Just like this. Because now I want to take this here, the polka dots from the printable, and I want to put them behind this little window. So I'm going, no. Oh no, this is too big. Oh, no. Ah. Oh no, I've torn this too big. No. Ah, I'm freaking out. Ah, this is, oh, okay. we are junk journaler. Junk journaler can solve every problem. Let's do this. Let's take this. Let's fold it. Take something sturdy. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this to my sewing machine without the red paper first. And I will sew around here so that I have a frame around the whole window here. Then I'm going to take this paper, put that behind here. And then I'm going to sew from here to here, all around here, and then only until here, so that I have nothing in between of my fingers here, so that here is then this little slot where we can put the paperclip on later. Okay, so here we go. I think this looks even more interesting with this little thing here. So to understand the construction of this, here is now this little slot where the paperclip later on will go in. From the back, it's probably a little easier to understand. So this is how I have sewn the red paper on. And now we can take this and then we can glue this on. And for that, I'm going to use some double-sided tape. And of course, now I have to pay attention that I don't put double-sided tape or any other glue. You could glue this with liquid glue as well, of course, but pay attention that this area here has no glue. You don't want to glue this to the background, otherwise you can't put the paperclip in anymore. And now I want to sew around here again, so that I then can take my scissors and make some little things here. And then I can just take this and tear this until here where the sewing is, and it automatically stops there, so that it then looks like this. And now I want to do it like this and staple in here so that this material stays where it is and that these dots become visible. So let's then talk about the terrible things. Let's make the hidden paperclip, which shall go in here. Oh, I hate those things so much, and I can tell you why. Because always when I make those hidden paperclips, I'm confused by the fact that a paperclip has this longer part and this shorter part, and I'm always confused about how to do this thing so that it is really hidden in the end and that it works. I mean, I want to have a hidden paperclip that works. So, yeah. I want to take this paper. This is just the second piece, the second half of my printable. You can use whatever you have, but I guess it's a good idea to have something that is sturdy. So I'm going to tear this because I want to have this a little bit irregular. Let's see if it fits in here. Yeah, that should work. So then I'm going to fold this. I leave this a little longer, even if I know that I don't need it that long. But cutting something off is easier than, you know, the other way around. Then I take the paper clip and put that on here. And now the confusing part is going to start. So here the paper clip has this length and here it's longer. So I want to have the longer part here and not inside, because here on the longer part, later on I want to make a little collage, and I think it's better if when you have this shown and use this as the surface to glue the collage, because it seems that it is sturdier then. But I don't know. I don't know if that is correct. So at the same time, I want to have the paperclip a little bit sticking out here, so I don't want to put it completely inside, but I want this to be approximately as long as the page is, like so. And then on the back where this shorter part is, I'm going to take this and do it like this, so that the fold is now exactly there where the paperclip ends. And since this is longer than the whole thing, I'm going to cut a piece off here. Then I take the paperclip off and take this, what I've just folded, fold that to the back. And then I'm going to glue this down. And that has a reason, because when I do this like so freehand and with eyeballing and tearing and that stuff, I have the feeling that it's better to have this really sturdy and straight edge here, because this later on has to go in here like this. And if you have a torn edge here, then I think that is not so good. So that's the reason why I'm doing it like this. And that is, I'm sure, not a professional way, but it will hopefully work. So then I put the paperclip over here. And now we are going to need a second piece of paper, which is the same width. So that we can hide the paperclip. So I'm going to line this up here where the other piece ends, fold that around here, just like this, and then I tear it here where the other piece ends as well. And then we can just line this fold up with the top here, and I'm sorry, and bring this around here, so that then the paperclip is hidden, just like this. Looks a little bit weird. So that it now should be possible to take this and clip this on here. And then I thought about a focal point or like a theme for this thing, and I thought, what could you want to touch, or who could touch this? And then I came to the idea that I need this little boy here, because for me, he is two different things. On the one hand, if I see him, I think I want to touch him and I want to cuddle him. But the other thing is, he looks like he's really curious and he wants to touch the things that are surrounding him. You can find this boy on the freebie for free. And you can also find this boy and several different other people, like children, men, women, couples, people with dogs, in several of my fuzzy cut people ephemera packs in my shop. There's a total of 3 different sets. I will link them all down below for you so that you can check them out if you're in the need of people. And as a Dephemerember goodie, you can save 30% on all of those sets, which are linked below, by using this code here. So, of course, he needs something around him, and I, of course, want to use this stuff here and see what we get from this. This is not totally dry yet, but let's see. Let's first dry this. It would be better to let this air dry completely, but I'm a little bit impatient today. I want to see if this can work, because obviously my stenciling was not so successful. So let's see. But perhaps we can make an advantage from this as well. because since the texture paste is not completely dry, oh, let's turn off the heat gun. I know that this is going to become like a really abstract version of my stenciling, because the stenciling with the paste already went a little wrong. So why don't we make something abstract on purpose and don't dry the texture paste completely, because this way we can take, for example, an oxide spray. I'm going to use brushed corduroy in this case, so that the texture paste can work as a resist, but not completely, because it's not completely dry. And that means now the oxide spray will get into those areas which are not completely dry yet. And that means we get a really abstract and hopefully artsy paper. I'm going to add a little bit of water. Normally, if you would stencil and then let the texture paste dry completely, it would be completely resistant for the oxide spray. But now we get something a little different. Take a paper towel and make that wet. Because if you take a dry paper towel and put that on here now, it will probably stick to the paste, which is not completely dry yet. And then you would tear off the paste from your paper, and that's of course not what we want. But the paste works like a resist, as you can see. And if you do it carefully, you can even take this off with a wet paper towel, even if the paste is not dry completely, and then you can just dry the rest with your heat gun. And that's something that I really like to do if I have fails with stenciling, for example, or other fails. Then I don't try to get a nice, like, clear result from that, because that is like pressure, and it's probably going to become another fail. So if I have a fail, then I try to experiment, and in the end I have something interesting like this. I mean, this is like totally not what I wanted, but this looks interesting. Let's take this, and let's first take a piece of this fabric. So I'm going to take Barbara's scraps, because I think I have a little bit of green here. Yeah, because I think that is a really nice contrast for here. Why don't we take a small strip of this, and then we can glue that on here. And when I thought about what can you touch on this page, this texture, this little boy, who wants to touch the texture? The boy. I thought, what else could he want to touch? Is that a sentence? I really don't know. And then I thought, he wants to have some flowers around him. So I want to cut out some flowers with this die cut here. The number of this die cut is 656640. And if you don't have die cuts, or if you don't want to use die cuts, I mean, if you don't want to use die cuts, if you have some, then I would like to ask you why. But you can see I love die cuts. But if you don't have some, or if you don't want to use them for some reason, you also have these flowers here on the freebie. So you could cut these out and layer them on top of each other, like I will do it here in a second, so that you have something similar for your collage and for your focal point as I will have here. So it looks relatively empty here. So I thought, why don't we take a half flower somewhere here so that we then can glue this down as well. Oh, Barbara is again messaging me. She when I made a little break in between of recording my German video and this English video, I made a little break, and then I was sitting here at my desk having a little potato vegetable bowl. I was sitting here because it's warm here compared to my kitchen, because my other heater is broken and in my kitchen it's relatively cold at the moment. And I was sitting here, and I will show you the picture that I have sent to Barbara. Perhaps that's funny for you as well, because her question was which prompt I'm working on at the moment, and then I didn't answer with like a normal sentence, but I have sent her this photo. And she was like, huh? What the heck? But of course, she could immediately see which prompt it is because of those little dots here and the plaid. But that was really funny. And I was like, sometimes it's like a little weird in a positive way how you eat during Dephemerember, because normally you would think, yeah, let's make something normal to eat like everyone else would do. And then you realize with all of those videos it's not possible. Okay, so then I think I want to add a button here and a button here, and probably a few buttons here to make this more interesting and for getting more contrast to this, because this is like matchy, a little too matchy if you ask me. This is nice somehow, but I don't like that these are not the same. Oh, look, I like this. I will glue these down. Before I change my mind, I will glue these down. But I think the contrast is still not enough, and it's a little boring. So I thought, why don't we take some more black? So I've cut out some wildflowers, perhaps like this, and then I could put this little rest in here. So then, since this color here from our sewing pattern is relatively massive, and that's of course not the color of the sewing pattern, but the color brushed corduroy, which we've added there, and because I think it looks nice, I want to take the nozzle of this and carefully add a tiny bit of the ink, oxide ink here. And because this is different paper, I mean the sewing pattern, the photo paper where I've printed the printable on, this is going to react differently. On the photo paper, the oxide ink gets really extremely, and it gets a little bit bluish, and I think that's a nice addition here. Perhaps we can also take a paintbrush and splatter a little bit. That happens when you don't take your splatter brush. Why? Because I can't find it in my water container there. Yeah, I think that's nice. When this is dry, that will look really interesting, I think. But I want to add some golden splatters as well. I'm going to use Distress Paint Tarnished Brass for that, mixed with some water. So then it looks like this, and I think with the oxide spray splatters here, that looks really interesting, especially in combination with this gold. I think the oxidation of brushed corduroy and this tarnished brass gold that fits so well together. Now we can take this and put that in here. I've already punched the holes so that I'm able to put this in here. And of course now, holy crap, we can see that this, oh, my eyes, oh, look, this is terrible. Holy moly, in the camera it's even not as bad as in reality. Effie, you have to take out your magic wand and make something here. I definitely have to put a page in between here or put this page somewhere else. This is like, oh my goodness, my stomach. Look, it's terrible. It's it's absolutely terrible. But what I actually wanted to say, of course, you can now take your paper clip out here, just like this, and then you have it like separately here. And I think this by itself looks really, really nice. And if you don't like it in this context anymore, or if you think I have, for example, a little tag or a little note paper or something, let's just take something. Let's imagine this is like a little note or a tiny tag. Then you can put that in here because you have a tuck spot here now. Or perhaps you think I want to have another focal point here, I don't like that anymore. Then you can do something here and take the paper clip and put that to another page, of course. For example, here would look really nice. The colors would match really well, I think. And this way, you can see you have a little like page tab here now as well. Of course, you could plan it like this so that the boy is peeking out from the journal. If this would be closed, then you would still be able to see him there. So I hope you like this, and I hope you want to try out something like this. Perhaps this was a little inspiration for you. That would make me really, really happy. And where the heck is my prompt list now? Here. Because of course we can make a little cross here today. I totally forgot to ask how your weekend was. Oh my goodness, I'm just realizing that it's Monday today. I hope you had a great weekend. So better late than never. So we have finished this, and tomorrow we have the prompt Nature's Treasure, and I guess it's going to become very cold tomorrow. So perhaps you want to take out some gloves and, you know, a scarf or something. I want to try something tomorrow and I want to take you with me. Be prepared for some weird experiments. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.